Hey everybody, welcome back to the Calibrate Tools and DIY channel. Hope everybody's doing good today. Guys, we're going to dive into a topic that should be on top of everybody's mind, and that is AI. Let's not beat around the bush. It's everywhere now. I remember maybe a couple of years ago it was talked about, you know, but now you can't even tell what's real or not, right? If you're looking at a video, is this real or not? And the ramifications of what AI is doing out there in the world now is it can go either way, right? But that's not the side of AI I'm going to talk about today. I'm going to talk about how AI is affecting industries, right? In particular, the construction industry, building trades, okay? Because believe it or not, you hear a lot of people talk about, well, it's not going to affect the trades, and it's not going to do that. Well, it is affecting the trades, okay? It may not have wiped out certain sectors in certain industries like it has the trades. I mean, like it has in other industries, but it's quickly getting there. And I figured I'll talk about that, guys. So so I did the research and I broke down a list of different trades from the most affected to the least affected when it comes to AI. So you can be prepared and how to approach that, especially if you're a young person today and you have the foresight. In other words, you can see what's coming down the pike and you want to prepare yourself for the new economy, the new AI economy in the building trades or whatever other industry. I'm talking about the building trades because this channel focuses on the trades and so forth. Okay, so let's dive right into it. Okay, so what is the most affected trade that's out there in terms of building trades? And that would be estimating and project management. Now, you don't hear a lot about it, but this estimating and project management is a very crucial part of the construction world, right? And any project that's out that you see being built, there's a project manager involved and there's estimating involved, having to do with costs, having to do with blueprints, having to do with material lists, all that stuff, having to do with accounting, all that stuff is involved. Okay, and AI is pretty much one of the best candidates right now to take over that area. Okay, so let's see how. Okay, AI can analyze blueprints, it says. Okay, it can generate material lists in minutes versus hours. So that's the whole thing about AI, right? And that's why a lot of people are going to be displaced without jobs. Okay, because AI can do things in minutes, right, versus hours. Imagine how that type of efficiency can benefit a company. So they're not even thinking about you as as the model employee anymore. They're like, I don't care how good you are, you cannot beat the AI systems that we have in place. You're going to cost us money, right? So we're going to replace you, and that's where it's coming, right? So it's almost like a tidal wave that if we're, a lot of people are asleep, but it's coming and it's going to wipe a lot of folks out. All right. So, like I said, AI can analyze blueprints, right, in a matter of minutes. Cost modeling, in other words, what kind of costs uh, are going to be affiliated with this project. You got to figure all that stuff out. And it says AI, machine learning, can analyze uh, the data and it can predict the costs of everything more accurately than anybody, human being can, in a matter of minutes as well, right? So that's another thing. So when it comes to accounting and all of that stuff, when it comes to construction accounting, I know a construction accountant myself, and this stuff could take days to do, right? It could take days, a lot of paperwork, a lot of time, and AI is cutting all of that out. Okay, scheduling. Okay, AI could come up with a schedule like I said, in a matter of minutes. I'm gonna be saying that a lot because that's what it does. It just cuts the time factor out, right? The accuracy factor out, cuts all that stuff out that would involve a human being. Okay, so it says AI can generate optimal timelines, not just one. It can generate multiple timelines, multiple schedules for you to choose from. Okay, when it comes to your project, um, it said it can consider the weather, the labor availability. In other words, it can figure out, okay, how many people do you need and who is available, and it can even figure that out when it comes to supply chain as well. All of that in a matter of seconds. I mean, I wouldn't say seconds, but minutes. Risk assessment, which is another big thing when it comes to construction, right? Very important part. It says AI can identify potential overruns before they happen, whether that's a cost overrun or whatever. It can identify those things. It can predict that, because it's all about pattern recognition. It's all about historical data. So you just have to train it to be able to do all this stuff. And that's where you come in and where you don't have to be left out in the cold. It says, if you were an estimator or a project manager, you're now going to have to become an AI manager now, right? You're going to have to manage these AI systems, which means you're going to have to get trained again, right? You're going to have to go back to school and learn how AI works, right? When it comes to your particular industry and field. And that's where I think a lot of people are going to fall off, because they're not going to realize that they do have to add more education to their belt, right? And, a lot of people are not going to do it. And it's only so many AI managers that you can hire. And I would assume that would be way less than the normal amount of personnel that you had before. So, it's going to be a supply and demand thing. Okay. So estimating and project management, that's the since it involves a lot of historical data, it involves a lot of pattern recognition. All of that stuff is where AI excels, and human beings lag behind. So that part of the building trades, or that sector of the building trades, is going to be affected the most, according to the research. What's next on the list, guys? Can you guess what's next? I thought about this the other day, and when I did the research, like it popped up. I was like, okay, it has to be architecture and design drafting. A lot of people go to school for architecture, right? And they get degrees in that stuff. Well, I know a lot of them are probably like looking for other options now, because it takes time to draw up drafts, right? AI can do that, like I said, in minutes. What does it say here? AI can create thousands of design variations optimized for cost, sustainability, and structural integrity. When it comes to drafting, it can convert sketches into detailed CAD drawings. That's CAD, computer aided design drawings. Okay, that's 2D sketches. It can convert those into drawings. I guess you just have to scan it, and it'll just make a model for you on the screen, or the computer screen. Code compliance checking. Everything has to be by code when it comes to construction and building, right? So if it's not by code, or certain things are off code, AI can instantly identify what's not compliant when it comes to the codes and fix that for you, right? Instead of finding it out later on the project site, when you have a home inspector come in and say, oh, that's not right, this not right, you got to tear it down, do it again. Well, AI can take care of that for you. It can see things that you probably won't see because of human error and human laziness, right? So imagine how valuable that is to a construction company. And I guarantee you right now, construction companies, I wouldn't say everyone, the ones that can afford it, are implementing these systems into their businesses right now. Okay. Clash detection. It can identify conflicts between systems before construction begins. So I'm assuming that means like, okay, plumbing system, electrical system, if there's a, something that's clashing in the blueprints or whatever, it can see that, right? It can see that and identify that and fix that right off the bat. So that's how powerful AI is, guys. It's not just something that's creating duplicate images of somebody on a video. No, it's much deeper than that. Okay, so what does it say here? Creative vision, client communication, and contextual design thinking remain uniquely human. So this is where AI does not excel. It says AI can handle technical execution while designers can focus on innovation. So there you go. Okay. If you got the vision, if you know how to sell, you got good communication skills, gift of gab, you know how to talk to people. Um, you know how to come up with different design strategies, then your job is not necessarily on the chopping block. Okay. AI doesn't excel at that stuff, even though I think that it's almost there, but it's not there. Okay. So there's certain things that AI cannot, it cannot replicate, right? And those are the things you need to focus on so you can survive in the AI economy that's encroaching upon us at breakneck speeds. Okay. So what do we have? Okay. So the first two, estimating and project management, and architectural and design drafting. Okay. Those are the first two that are going to be impacted the most by AI. Anybody got any other ideas before I jump around? All right. So what's the next one? Surveying and site layout. Okay. So you see the guys out there with the surveying instruments. Hey, they got to watch out too, because now they have drones and they have what they call LiDAR and AI powered analysis that are collecting all the information now. Okay. Instead of you just standing out there taking a survey, you got drones doing the surveying. They got you got what they call point cloud processing, and that's AI processes millions of data points to create accurate site models. Okay. Progress monitoring, computer vision tracks construction progress against plans. Okay, once again, there you go with AI being able to handle multiple aspects of the surveying process and put it, and put it together for you, right? Earthwork calculations, AI analyzes terrain and optimizes cut and fill operations. That's a surveying job right there, right? So what does it say for surveyors to do? Surveyors, they need to master drone operations, data analysis software, and AI verification rather than just traditional instruments. Okay. So they got to go back to school, guys. And that's what new economies and new technologies force you to do. AI is going to force us. Yes, it's going to force us to go back to school and, up our skills. Okay. So if you don't know how to operate a drone, then you better learn. Okay. All right. Now we're getting into some of the nitty gritty trades here, right? That we all kind of know about. Electrical. AI is going to affect electrical work. Okay. How? Let's see here. It's going to be able to design. All right. Design the electrical schematics or the layout for your electrical project. It's going to be able to do that in minutes. Okay. It's going to be able to, figure out how efficient your routing, your conduit routing should be. What else here? Auto panel schedules, auto-generated from design models, predictive analysis for systems performance, IoT sensors with AI predict equipment failures. And that's what I'm noticing here is that AI is going to be able to predict certain things, right, ahead of time before they happen. I think that's one of the biggest value adds that AI brings to the building trades or the construction industry. Okay. So it says electricians, they need to understand smart systems, data networking, and AI-driven building automation while maintaining core installation skills. So it's saying, okay, you still have to know how to be an electrician, right? You got to know all the basic stuff. That's not going anywhere, but you also have to be able to understand these different aspects, right? Like said, smart systems, data networking, and all that. So you're not just an electrician now. You're a tech person, okay? And I think a lot of people don't realize that the trades is just it's just tech in the building industry. That's all it is. Plumbing and HVAC, okay? Plumbing and HVAC, that's going to be affected as well, okay? When it comes to electrical and plumbing, you're talking about routing, like in plumbing, right? On HVAC, you're routing pipes, you're routing conduit, you're routing ducts, all that stuff you're routing throughout a building, okay, or a system, and AI is going to excel at designing all of that, right? And so, okay, it says it creates efficient layouts, minimizing materials. So this is what AI is good at, as far as we can tell, based on this discussion so far. It's good at creating an efficient system, right? Whatever system that is, it makes it as efficient as possible. Okay. When it comes to the physical layout, when it comes to the costs, all the aspects of it, it just, you know, makes everything just efficient, and that's what I'm noticing here. Okay. It predicts HVAC performance and optimizes for efficiency. Sensors and AI forecast system failures. It can predict that. Let's see here. Load calculations for equipment selection. That's very important. And so, once again, if you're an HVAC or a plumber, you're gonna have to you know, gain knowledge on smart systems. You know, integrating with building management systems. Okay, you're gonna have to, you know, this is something that's probably you didn't learn in plumbing school, but you're gonna have to learn it now. And I would assume that based on the advent of AI being integrated into the building trades and so many other industries, the trade schools are going to have to integrate that into their curriculum as well, right? If they want to pump out, you know, competent workers, right, or competent individuals. So you're gonna have to get certified and all that stuff. Even the most basic aspects of the construction industry, carpentry and framing. Once again, AI is going to affect that as well. It says AI can optimize material usage, and it can generate the cutting schedules, prefab design. It can automate panel layouts of offsite construction, robotics in plants. Okay, so you know, robotics is going to be involved at some point. Okay, so that's another thing that you probably didn't expect, right? You didn't expect, okay, a carpenter or a framer not going to have to worry about AI, but guess what? When it comes to certain things like prefab and stuff like that, it's definitely going to be involved. Okay, let's see what else it says about that. Factory work is increasingly automated. Field carpenters face less AI impact currently, but are seeing tools become smarter with AR and digital guidance systems. Okay, so even the tools are becoming smarter, and I hope to you know, feature more tools on the channel that have AI integrated into them. Okay, I haven't come across any yet, but trust me, I guarantee you I'm gonna stay on top of all of this, and so I can bring some good information when it comes to the actual tools to you. Okay, masonry. Here's another aspect you probably didn't think about, right? AI is not affecting it that much. There's, you know, in other words, there's a low impact rating when it comes to the effect of AI on this particular part of the building trades. But robotics will necessarily, I mean, robotics. I think I've seen robots build or lay bricks. Yeah, I've seen that. Okay, so when it comes to AI and automation, I would think robotics or robotic bricklaying is definitely going to be out there. Okay, I've seen it. Okay, quality inspection, computer vision can identify defects. Material estimation, AI can improve the accuracy of material calculations, and AI can optimize the brick layouts, because once again, that's the design aspect of the brick layout. It can optimize that. All right. So let's see here. AI assists more than replaces. In other words, it helps more than replaces. The craft, precision, and adaptability required to keep humans central to masonry. Okay, so it's not gonna, like, if you're a mason, I don't think you have to worry too much about it until they have nothing but robots running around. Then you may have to, you may have to become a robotics expert or something. But okay, let's see here. What's next? What's next on the chopping block for AI? finishing trades, drywall, painting, and tiling. Okay, so it says these trades require fine motor skills, aesthetic judgment, and adaptability to imperfect conditions. These are areas where AI and robotics still struggle. So we see that as we go down the ladder to the more basic, and I don't mean it in a judgmental way that, okay, drywall is more basic than estimating and project management. Painting is more basic, but in a sense it is, right? But not in the sense that it's a lower level. It's all necessary. It's all one. They're all one part of they're all parts of the pie. Okay, one thing. Okay, but if you notice, when it comes down to the physical labor aspects of the construction industry, AI is not as impactful on those aspects of it. Okay, but when it comes to the more cerebral, right, aspects of it, like estimating and project management. What was that other one? Let's see here: architectural design, drafting. Things like that. That takes the brain, takes some brain power. As far as designing and all that, not just a rote skill like drywall, laying drywall and stuff like that. Yes, that does take skill and does take thought. But when it comes to the more abstract, versions of or aspects of the industry, that's where AI is more impactful. Okay. Once again, robots. I don't foresee a bunch of robots running around laying drywall and painting and all that. Until that happens, then those areas of the building trades are not going to be as affected. Okay, but if you're sitting at a desk, in other words, beware. Okay, you might not be sitting at a desk too long. In the near future, you might have to pick up a paintbrush or learn how to lay some drywall or tile or something like that. Okay. All right. So what else here? Let's skip here. Specialized installation trades, glazers, installers, flooring specialists, roofers. That's a very low impact rating when it comes to AI affecting these guys here. Why? It's because it says these trades involve complex physical manipulation, working in varied conditions, and safety considerations that AI robotics can't handle well. All right, so you're safer at the bottom. Isn't that kind of funny, right? You're safer at the bottom now, but if at the top, okay, you're not safe. So that's that's an interesting turn of events, right? Back in the corporate world where we didn't have all this. I mean, back in the day, in the earlier days of the corporate world, if you were the lowest man on the totem pole, you got sliced, and that even happens today, right? But it's funny how everything flipped now. Like if you're the higher up, right, sitting at a desk, some would say doing a lot of the mental work, you're now on the chopping block, and the guy on the bottom, okay, with the paintbrush in his hand and the hammer in his hand, and the one who's doing all the physical work and physical labor, his job is safer than yours today. So isn't that interesting? All right. Lastly, we have heavy equipment operation. Okay, this is the lowest in terms of lowest rating in terms of impact or AI, right? Impacting this industry. No, unless you have a giant crane that's automated, it's a big robot doing the work, then maybe you might have to worry. But it hasn't taken over to that extent yet. So if you're a heavy equipment operator, your job may be the safest one for now. Okay. And, I'm sure there are others on that level that I can speak of, but that's just the list I came up with today. So basically, guys, the takeaway is that if you're in a, on the upper echelons, right, of the building trades industry, you're probably going to have to worry about AI affecting your job, which means you should be doing all you can right now to learn about AI, learn how to be an AI manager, and whatever it takes to keep, yourself relevant, okay, on that level, okay, because it will affect you. If you're further down on the ladder, maybe not as much, but you shouldn't get complacent either, because I think at some point when robotics gets more widespread, because AI and robotics, they work hand in hand. And I think the goal for the powers that be is to eliminate the human element as much as possible, even on those and on every level, right? So AI is not necessarily a replacement, but it can definitely help. I think the goal is to have AI help as much as possible while reducing the human element, because at some point you will become useless if you don't know, if you're not needed, right? So what should you do? You should add as much value as you can by learning about AI and how it's going to affect your industry if you plan on staying in that industry, and just becoming AI literate, and become an operator. Okay. So that's all I want to talk about tonight, guys. So I hope you got something from that, and stay tuned for the video coming out on Thursday. And thank you guys for coming in. Appreciate you. Take care.